Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So, Capricorns, let's get into your retrograde message. We start retrograde tomorrow. So, happy day. Let's see what is coming back. And we are going to look at this in the context of love. Sometimes I like to keep it more general. This time I want to focus more on love. We have a Six of Swords. We have a Four of Pentacles. Honestly, Capricorn might do a little, kind of like open up the mental, photo album and say, no, I'm not going back. Lots of times, because I always think of it this way, Mercury laps us, right? Because it's got a faster orbit than Earth does. So it's not going in reverse. It's just that it appears that way from our vantage point. But every time it comes around, which is 3 to 4 times a year, on its loop, we're a little older, we're a little wiser. So we may look at things that pop back up in our life, but from a new, improved standpoint or a wiser standpoint. And right now, it looks like if there is somebody who comes to mind for Capricorn, Capricorn may say, and that's why I moved on. And that's why I chose to pull my energy back. And that's why I am walking onward. That is why I'm going, to heal from this. Now, what it could be is that this could, instead of it being like, oh, is there a romance coming back? It could be that an argument or something is coming back between two people. And Capricorn's like, you know what? I thought about exiting this a while ago, and now I'm confirming it's time for me to exit this. We have the Chariot and we have the Tower. Okay, so please remember these are fictional stories about fictional characters, but at least it says here it could have been like a tentative connection that, Capricorn and another character were trying to work out and, hammer out the details. But it actually looks like Capricorn is saying, no, I returned to my original plan that I think it's time for me to go. It's time for me to let this situation go. I want to heal from this. I don't want the stress of this. It has been a bumpy road. I don't know if Capricorn is going to be walking away from an Aries. Now, again, this could just be in one's memory bank, or this could be actually calling it quits with someone, and actually saying, no, I don't want to stay with them. I don't think that we're a good match. I think I'm going to go ahead and return to my idea that there are other lovers out there for me. The Lovers is a card of choice, and Capricorn may be at a place in their life, especially during this retrograde, where they're saying, who do I really want to grow old with? What kind of a relationship do I want to have? If I've given something and someone enough time for us to try to get on the same page, and yet we still have, things that are just not working out, and they still have a big ego, and my heart still gets hurt again and again, maybe I want to think about letting them go so that I can move on and I can be with somebody else. And that is more the way I think that this looks, at least to my eyes. It is not to be mean. It is not to hurt somebody. I just think this is the way Capricorn is looking at things. We have a Two of Wands, and it is sideways as well. The Two of Wands sideways. This has been, even now, even though I think Capricorn seems like during this retrograde, they're going to be, pretty solid in their decision. I don't think it's because Capricorn's like, oh, and there's somebody else I want to go be with. I think it's more like, you know what, maybe this could have been worked out if I was different, if they were different. But how long do I want to wait? This would be standing at the crossroads and waiting and waiting. This is Capricorn saying, I need to begin at least the energy of moving away from something that has been nothing but difficult, stressful, complex. Let's take a look at how might this retrograde be impacting them. What's the energy on their side? Six of Swords. Okay, on one hand, they also want to move into calmer waters. They know this is not the way it should go. It should be better. Yeah, Three of Pentacles. The only thing is they want to move into calmer waters with Capricorn, from what I can see, because that would be Capricorn, and that's me wanting to work. Can we start over? Can we, things do need to be reset. Could we have a reset and we begin all over again? But it just does not look in this storyline like Capricorn is sharing that energy. This looks like Capricorn is like, no. With the Fool in the reverse, this is them saying, I know maybe we keep trying to rush things, or I keep trying to rush things. If I didn't try to jump ahead. What if we could build a friendship first? So in their mind, what's coming back around is like, okay, there are some things that need to be done better and different so that Capricorn and I can be, at peace with each other and harmony with each other. We need to build the friendship. I wonder if we could start over so we could build a friendship and not rush too fast, not jump in and imagine that we already know everything there is to know about each other, but instead start building from the ground up. We have the Hermit. They may also be thinking, maybe like a brief separation so that, I can kind of get my energy settled so that they're certainly thinking heavily about a separation time period, but they don't want to let this go. They're just thinking, to let some of the tension fade. And they might also be thinking just very heavily about this. I mean, obviously, they seem to say, I didn't want this to be over. I know that things have to be calmer and better, but maybe a separation period, and then we could come back stronger. Like that's how it comes across, is the way I'm looking at it for them. Ten of Cups on their side, they still think that this could be amazing, that we could still have it all. I think Capricorn and I could make each other so happy. Let me ask this. From Capricorn's perspective, and let's change decks, what has been the underlying issue here? We have the Knight of Swords, which would be things move too fast. Words are spoken too swiftly. We maybe don't have time. Knight of Cups, maybe we did move too fast into romance. Three of Wands and Princess of Wands. We needed to go slower, plain and simple. We needed to take this slower, and maybe if we had, moved into passion, moved into a physical connection, into an emotional connection more slowly, that would have been better, because we started too fast, jumped into emotions, expectations of emotions without really knowing each other. It was really the first step forward, and there's worlds to know about each other, and it should have taken at least 3 months to really get to know each other. Okay. Well, again, this kind of seems like both people are about on the same page. Let me ask from their perspective, what do you think was the underlying problem? Eight of Pentacles, Queen of Wands. They may have some obstacles that they really hadn't quite shed. And if they're looking at Capricorn saying, Capricorn expects me to be able to, have eyes for them, treat them the way a Queen of Wands expects to be treated. A Queen of Wands is absolutely lovely. A Queen of Wands is one of our most attractive queens. She is a little saucier. She's a little sassier. She expects to be respected. And if they had some blockages, because this is Ganesh, remover of the obstacles, and that Eight of Pentacles says he was still possibly working on things. And what happens when we're busy working on our own stuff? We're not really able to give full attention to another person, even someone that we really want to. So I'm wondering if maybe that's the other part of this, where I don't know if they came across as aloof or as disinterested sometimes, or as, like careless or even callous when it came to like showing affection and interest to Capricorn. Capricorn didn't say those things, but Capricorn did say, what, we shouldn't have jumped into some kind of romance without knowing each other better. Almost like, it could have felt insulting or something if they jumped into becoming lovers, but then this person is only giving 40% of their focus. That could have been like, whoa, what the heck is this? Like, was I just some random afterthought? I don't know. It's not that Capricorn has said they made me feel, undervalued or something, but this is kind of hinting at, and even when Capricorn said, look, I would rather choose another lover, somebody that I don't feel stressed out about, somebody that, is there with me and plans on going to Paris with me for our 50th wedding anniversary. I want that. I want romance with somebody. If even they see Capricorn as this wonderful, spicy, sexy, gorgeous, romantic, Queen of Wands, heck yeah, you better up your game to be the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands has a little bit more expectation of, like, let's dress up nice, let's go out, let's do romantic things together. I feel like Capricorn probably really knows how to put themselves together beautifully. I feel like Capricorn is interesting and charismatic. I feel like if they're showing up as a Queen of Wands, and keep in mind, this is his perspective of Capricorn. Capricorn is very hot and has, I'm not saying Capricorn just wants to be out in the nightlife all the time, but it wouldn't hurt to go out sometimes where you get to get dressed up nice. Capricorn has some, splash of, self-worth and likes to maybe go out once in a while and do things where, it's go to a nice dinner, go out to a place where you're going to dress better, just show up, So in their head, this is all still under the header of what do they think ruined things? What was it that, dismantled this? And they're saying, I sat there and I overthought things. And with the Two of Swords, sat there and I, was up in my head and didn't know what to do here. And it was always about, I was worried thinking about my other stuff instead of thinking about Capricorn. Okay. So basically, it'd be very hard to be in any kind of a connection with somebody who's up in their head about other things in their life. Nothing here says that they were like torn between Capricorn and somebody else. It doesn't say they were wounded. It says that they were working on them, which might have made them a terrible partner, because what happens when we're more focused on our own goals or the things that we need to, get our head around? We don't really pay much attention to somebody else. And it's not to be rude or, belittle somebody else. It's just that we sometimes have to take care of our own needs first. No wonder they're saying, honestly, I would love to still have a brand new do-over with Capricorn. I do think, maybe we shouldn't have tried jumping into something, because a little bit of time apart, and then if I can get my stuff done, if I can do that solo thing that I need to do for a bit longer, then I could come back and I could really offer something to Capricorn. Look, they understand. I feel like this is the right reason for two people to part ways. They maybe struggled to hold a connection together and it doesn't work right now. But this actually says letting each other go right now. It's more like a pause, hitting the pause button on this connection. And then, granted, Capricorn might be off the market and have found somebody else by the time they do come back in. But this says there is a great opportunity for this story to come back around, or at least they have the intention of this, because they think that they could be wonderful with Capricorn, but they know that they're not right now. They're taking full accountability in this. So I could see a relationship conversation happening during retrograde where Capricorn probably leads it and says, listen, I really think, this is tough to hang on to this right now. I think we jumped into this too fast. I think I'm going to pull back. I don't think Capricorn's going to be like, I'm going to go meet somebody else, you blankety blank. It's not like that. We don't have that. We have Capricorn admittedly saying, this is stressful. This has kind of hurt my feelings. I really don't like this. This is not what I want. And I'm picturing, who would I want to be with in the long term? The way things are between us, this ain't it. And I don't think Capricorn's saying it that bluntly. They seem much more tactful than I am. But we certainly see this nice energy of, let me just go ahead and basically call it off. Well, I feel like they're not only going to understand, but they actually are in agreement, but not because they're like, yeah, I wasn't that into you, Capricorn. This is them already thinking, God, I wish I had another chance to do this again later when I'm in a different headspace. Let me just ask one last question. Are they going to be able to convey that at all to Capricorn? Is that going to come across for them? We have got the Five of Swords sideways. It actually could sting them to hear Capricorn say, I think we should part ways, even though they clearly feel the same way. We have Page of Discs and we have the Eight of Discs. They may be a little stung. And on top of it, because again, Capricorn kind of looks like they're pulling back with the intention of, I think I'm done with this. they may say, well, I mean, do you want to at least stay friends or maybe talk sometime? And they could bristle a little bit. They could feel hurt, even though they may not really have a right to. But on one hand, it's like they wish that they were ready right now to be in an equal partnership. They're going to want to try to keep Capricorn somehow in their life, and I don't know if that's going to work for Capricorn, but that looks like the upcoming conversation. The only thing is this situation, maybe in the future, if they reapproach Capricorn when they're in a different place, that'd be great. But in the meantime, they can't exactly expect Capricorn to be sitting on the shelf waiting for them. So it could still be an interesting dialogue. And it could be a little bit of a difficult conversation, a little bit of a hostile conversation, only because, nobody likes to be told, you know what, I think I'm done. I think I'm going to go. Because obviously that's not what they want. If saltiness comes out, it's probably more from the angle of hurt, because they don't want things to be over. They'd love another chance, even though it doesn't look like they were ready for it yet. All right, guys, I'm going to leave this one here. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Bye for right now.